As the world works towards a greener future, some policymakers are raising some concerns about what the green transition could mean for the global economy across the world. Joining us now to discuss is Senior Fellow for Deploy US and Public Policy Analyst Joe Pinion. Joe, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
So if interest rates and inflation may not be the first thing that comes to mind when we think of improving the environment, what's the connection between the two?
Well, look, I think people need to recognize that the policies that we craft to deal with the issue of the environment, they certainly impact the bottom line. They certainly impact your pocket. And so even if you're looking at what we're trying to do on the global stage, you have to remember that 87% of all the carbon emissions we are trying to reduce come from China. And so the policies that we have as it relates to their importing of goods, that certainly impacts the actual emission of those of that carbon.
I mean, if anything, energy was more expensive in 2023 than it had been in 2022 or 2021. What can we expect for 2024 when it comes to how much we're paying just to keep our houses warm?
Some of the policies that are being passed state by state around the country, we are seeing the end to existing nuclear capacity. So energy prices are going to continue to go up as long as we end up having policies that are going to take away our ability to double down on the best sources of carbon, low carbon emitting fuel sources or zero emitting carbon fuel sources.
So top policymakers, they're warning that the global economy is entering an even more uncertain, volatile period, and that climate change might actually be a key reason. Can you explain why that is?
Well, look, I think we should be honest about the fact that if the oceans are rising, if we believe in thermometers that the temperature is rising, that should not lead to us being alarmist, but it should lead to us making wise and practical decisions. That means where we build property matters. How we actually make sure that those properties stay safe matters. Every time those ocean levels go up, the actual threat to bases that we have all around the world, there is an economic cost for all of this. So yes, there is an unseen economic impact, but we can do things to prevent that impact from hamstringing the American economy. The most important thing we need to do is not try to figure out how to solve a global problem by actually dealing with it internally within the bounds of this nation. America can be part of the solution, but again, if you're looking at where the overwhelming majority of those emissions are coming from, they're coming from beyond our borders, and we need policies that address that reality, not trying to penalize the average American by having them adopt solutions that aren't actually going to lead us to having a wholesale actual problem solved for these issues.
So what do you think are some smart policy changes that would benefit the environment while still making sure that the average American's wallet isn't being stretched too thin?
Absolutely. We need more nuclear, and we need it today. We have new nuclear technologies, modular nuclear, that is much safer, that allows us to reuse some of that spent nuclear waste. That's not a one-cycle fits-all solution. So that is one way that we can begin to attack both the emissions and the cost. We need to make sure that we have more natural gas. So there are plenty of things that can be done, not only to make the American people safer, not only to make energy costs less, but also to ensure that the world as we know it, the stability that's required for people who love freedom, to ensure that compact remains intact.
Well, the green transition is coming. Some might argue that it's already here. Do we have even more solutions, maybe beyond just nuclear, that would lessen the economic impact of it?
Certainly. I think, again, if you look at things that are underutilized, there are hydroelectric options that are at our disposal. Certainly, we have that in abundance. We have not fully tapped into that. There are geothermal solutions right now, the ability to try to repurpose some of these decommissioned coal mines to try to access the energy potential that is hidden beneath our feet. So all of these are things that are forward-looking, that is not us looking into a science fiction novel. The technology exists. We need policy members to identify these technologies and put resources behind them. We need to have forward-thinking policy that actually engages in all the things we know need to be done over these next 5 and 10 and 20 years.
All right, Joe Pinion, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.